worst case scenario. You can't mess his work up. You can't. And so for us, I'm like for me, like, I don't know how, like, you know, you ever made a mistake, like, man, I don't know how it's gonna work out. I mean, you know, and can you imagine him being like, man, they messed up my stuff. When we see these amazing people who kept their faith in the craziest and hardest of circumstances, probably imaginable. Now, how can I deal with it? How can others deal with it that are struggling really hard? Well, what can we hold on to while trying to navigate through this? So something that's come up as you're saying that, the first thought that I had as you were saying that just now was from the perspective of like, obviously there's people who are wrestling with this, right? I think that from a reception part of it, I think we're quick to kind of jump on and being like, well, we got so many facts and those are good. But I think that what I've learned so far is that from the reception of like hearing someone who is struggling, like, I think that's important to address. And I think that we need to just, in reality, like, we just need to shut up and listen. I think like, cause like I've had conversations cause I've studied a lot of it and I'm like, well, and I've like, cause I've had questions and I've studied more and the more facts, which are important. But I think that as people are going through it and they are struggling, I think it would be very helpful for us to just pause and just mourn with those that mourn, comfort those that stand in need of comfort, right? Be a witness of God. Like that's what I feel like, yeah, like that couldn't have been easy. And just listen, like, we don't have to have an answer. We don't have to answer someone. We don't have to have a rebuttal. We don't have to have a reason right away to like help somebody understand. I think that would be really helpful. I think that for me personally, or anybody who's like try to wrestle with the thought of it, I think for me myself, you got to get to a point. I think it's helpful to get to a point where it's okay if you don't know yet. Like, that's a strong word for me right now. Yet, for anybody. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know everything yet. I don't have to know everything now yet, you know? I do, like, I love that you said that about Christ, because like, you're like, I know his character. But see, that's the thing. I think that like, we got to remember, I think that he's not the one we have issue with, right? He's the hero. It's not Brigham. It's not Joseph. It's not any of these people. Like, the real hero is Christ. Like, there's nothing that anyone could have done. There's nothing that anyone, even Satan you can't mess up his work. You can't mess up the things that he's trying to put into play, that he's trying to put into place. And I think that like, I think we have to remember too, like the covenants, man. I feel like right now we talk so much because like in these conversations, we got to remember Christ. We got to remember the Abrahamic covenant. We got to remember his promises that he has made to the house of Israel. That we got to remember the promises that Christ has connected to us. Because think about it, like, who is it that there's so much bad going on in the world right now, 2021. And you could say, well, where's he at? But you think that he can't redeem it? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about COVID-19. Why did he let that happen? You think he can't redeem it? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man, this is like a little bit more personal for me. Like, I recently, I'm just trying to decide if I want to tell you. I mean, I already told you, but I got this little wristband on, and it's kind of weird. I'm like, should I keep on wearing this thing? This is when I went to the hospital. My wife, we lost our baby, man. We now there's people that it's more severe, and it's like relatively like 3.5 months pregnant, man. That's a long time. To me, I don't care what anybody says. Anybody can have their own opinion on it. That's a long time to have a baby. I've seen the heartbeat, man. I've heard the heartbeat. I've heard like the sound. And I remember sitting in that room looking at my wife, like when he was telling us, trying to put the gel on there, can't find the heartbeat. Like he can redeem that. I believe that. Like,
I can't speak for anybody else. I can't speak for other people's experiences. But what I do know, what I do believe is that Jesus Christ, he is powerful, man. I believe that. See, these things are personal to us because like that story of our child, that's a very personal story for me. Somebody that might have a different experience with the history, that's their personal story for them. But what I know about Christ is he's a very intentional, he's a very specific, he's a very intricate God. He's very specific, he's very personal. His love is very personal. His love is very intentional. And so worst case scenario, you can't mess his work up. You can't. And so for us, I'm like for me, like, I don't know how, like, you know, you ever made a mistake, like, man, I don't know how that's gonna work out. I mean, you know, and can you imagine him being like, man, they messed up my stuff. But right now in Africa, people are getting baptized left and right. They're getting baptized. I saw this meme. It was funny. Anyway, I don't want to be, it was so funny. It was like, anyway, I don't even want to go to it. But like, I'm telling you, like right now in Africa, the church is growing so fast. And do they know about the history? Many of them do. A lot of them do. But what they're coming to is they're not coming to a church. They're coming to Christ. They're coming to him. They're having experiences with him. No, so before we were filming this, we were just kind of chatting, and I was telling you about how because a lot of times we think like, because a question that's not even about the priesthood, but like just in life, man, why do bad things happen to good people? Like, don't we either think this? Like, how can God like allow all of these horrific things to happen? And then one day I was sitting and I was like, oh my gosh, like I could just add this this visual of like a picture, kind of like a meme, but it wouldn't be a meme because it's not like a joke, you know, of Christ on the cross, right? And the phrase that would be on the top of it, there's two of them that came to my mind. Number one was like just that phrase, why do bad things happen to good people? And then the second one was love is a verb. Love is a verb. Like he proved who he was with what he did. And he's like, look. That's the reason why he came. Because he knew that we're not perfect. He knew we'd mess up. That doesn't justify any of it. But that's why he's the Redeemer. That's why he's not, his last name isn't Christ. He is the Christ. He is the anointed. He is the one who came to save us all. Whoever will decide to come to him, whoever will choose to come back to him. And again, you can't mess his work up.